Yo everybody, what's up? Hey, have you ever changed differential fluid? You know, that old greasy, slimy mess in the rear and front differential of your Jeep? It can be messy. You know, you gotta unbolt the bolts around the pan, you drop the pan out, the fluid runs out, makes an absolute mess if you don't have a pan to catch it all. Let me show you an easier way. We're gonna make it with something that, well, you would never really suspect. Ta-da! Peanut butter jar. So, hey. Let's quit gabbing. Let's get this done. Okay, here's what we're doing. Peanut butter jar like I showed you. Take the lid off. I actually bought this big monstrosity 4-pounder right here for the exact purpose of using it for a fluid pump. So, anyway, you can take the lid off, drill your hole into it. I'm using a 3/16 drill bit right here. Drill you one hole in it right there. We're going to drill another one over here in just a moment. We're using this line right here. It is a 1/4 inch diameter line right here, which is the outside diameter, and it says 170 thousandths for the inside diameter, but I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, you want the 1/4 inch. If you go bigger, you're going to bigger or smaller, you're going to adjust your drill bit size. So I use a 3/16 bit, 1/4 inch tubing. I got this right here at Lowe's, and drill your hole in here. You can drill another one right there. Be careful not to drill a hole in my finger. Then what we're going, that hole right there is a bit too small. So what we're going to do at this point, I'm going to take this and keep just working with it, open it up little by little, because what you want is for this hose to be a forced interference fit inside there. It's got to fit in there like really tight. I mean, I got to pull it pretty darn hard to make it move inside that hole. So just keep whittling this out right here. Just keep whittling out until this tubing is a tight fit in there. So I'm not going to bore you to death watching me, whittle this hole out little by little, so I'll be right back. Alright, and I'm just going to show you guys a little pointer real quick. I got the hole actually to the right size, and this tube, I cut it off. It's approximately, I don't know, close to 2 feet long, something like that. Now the holes, when you drill them, what you want to do is, when you take your knife, okay, drill your hole first, and take your knife whenever you open it up, lay your knife back at an angle so you cut that hole at an angle. That's going to help you insert the tubing. Now if you cut it too big, not a big deal. What you can do is get your hot melt glue gun or use some RTV sealant or something like that, and what you'll do is you'll put it around the hole and press this right here through it to seal it up. But if you make the hole tight enough that when this tubing goes through, it is not easy cramming it through, I promise you, if you get it about right. Fish it through. You see how it kind of squeezes like that? Get your needle nose pliers, grab hold of that baby, pull it through. Now what you want to do is, since we're using this as a fluid pump, you gotta have a short hose and a long hose, meaning what's coming through here. We're gonna hook your pump source like a those Mighty Vac vacuum pumps that you squeeze the handle, it pulls a vacuum. Here's one of the things we're going to use as a vacuum source on this little device. And some of you who have done a little bit of mechanic work may actually recognize what I'm about to show you. Let me get the camera back here a little bit. There's a handheld vacuum pump, and you may have seen it in one of my videos too when I tested the map sensor. This is what I use to test the map sensor. It shows how much vacuum is being pulled on the sensor. In this case, we're going to use it to pull fluid out of the rear differential. So there's that, and what we're doing with this jar here, we're making a modified version of one of these, a lot bigger version. So yeah, this is way too small for a differential. Fine for brake fluid, not for differentials. So we throw that thing back out of the way. But this come in handy here just a little bit. Alright. Like I showed you, got a long side and a short side. Short side is where we're going to hook the vacuum pump onto. Long side is what's going to be downside here. And whenever you're pumping, the vacuum source is pulled here, it creates a vacuum inside the canister here, sucking the fluid out this way, because you've got this line that's going to be down inside the differential. So we're going to take and, I don't know, pull off about another 2 feet off this line right here, cut it off. Where'd the knife go? Cut that. And we got 2 pieces here, each one about 2 feet long. So we're going to get set up. I'm going to show you one more thing real quick though. We're almost done with this tool. I'll be back just a moment. Every now and again you get one of those jars that just doesn't want to seal. I mean, I know you're expecting a lot out of a peanut butter jar having to hold a vacuum, but you know, sometimes you do what you got to do. See what I've done right there is took some electrical tape, wrapped around the top of that, and it actually overlaps the top edge of this, therefore creating a seal. So when I screw the lid down, it actually helps hold the vacuum. And the reason I know it didn't hold a vacuum, what I did was I had the lid screwed on there. What that crap? That's my foot, ain't it? Had the lid screwed on to that. Have a finger over the hose here. I got tape stuck to it. I was holding my finger over the end of it like this right here, pumping the vacuum, watching the gauge. I was getting nothing. So once I put the tape around it and it sealed up good, then I was able to pull a little bit of a vacuum on there. It didn't hold a whole lot. And what I also done was took some silicone sealant and stuck up around this right here to help make sure you got a good seal. But sometimes you get a little cranky one. But that's the tricks you do right there to create it. Now if you make it ahead of time, the silicone right here, it'll seal up, it'll cure up and everything before it's time for use. But so now one more thing, be right back. Okay, this end of the hose right here is the end that's going to go inside the differential, and it's the inside the lid here. It's the longer one of the 2 sticking out. All right, notice this wire right here. Any kind of good stiff wire will work. And what this wire is, I use it to tie parts inside the oven whenever I'm doing my powder coating. So it's flexible, it doesn't break very easily. I use it for about all kinds of different things. But notice I've got one end twisted here, loop this through, twisted, run a really small wire tie, zip tie through that right there. It is not, notice, it is not over both pieces of the wire. It's through the wire. Why? Because, well, look at it this way. If I was to stick this down inside the differential to suck up the fluid, and I had this over top of the wire like this, that wire tie slid off. Well, guess what? You're pulling that rear cover off anyway, just to get that wire tie out. But I got a loop right here at the end. I've got a wire tie through the 2 strands of wire. So therefore, if this did happen to slide, which not very likely, you see I'm trying to move it now, not very likely, it's going to catch on the end of this wire, because this end of the wire is going to be on the outside of the diff. Okay, why is the wire there? Okay, as you feed it through the hole that goes down inside the differential, keep bending the wire like this. See how it curves it? That way you can follow the curvature of your pan in the rear diff, or the front diff, whichever one you're feeding it into. It'll follow it all the way down to the bottom and suck all the fluid out. Otherwise, it's probably hit the ring gear and just kind of hang there. So this right here will help you guide it down inside the diff. So our next step, let's go suck some fluid out of the rear. Okay, get the fluid out of the rear diff. What you want to do first thing, see this plug right here? Let's pull it out. Now you notice there might be a little bit of grease already out. It's like, yeah, I kind of started this last night, and it got dark as crap. The video sucked, so therefore I'm going to come out here to reshoot this for you. I didn't pull all the fluid out of the diff, so anyway, typically that's where you would fill it back up at. So what we're going to do is, like I showed you before, we're going to take this hose where it curves. We're going to feed it down inside there. And that curvature right there helps it guide. You help guide it down inside the rear diff. And you got to work around the ring gear. think it's down there. It's all the way down as far as it's going to go. I mean, what grease I pulled out looked okay, so I ain't really too stressing about it. Okay, we'll reposition the camera. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back on our jar. Now here's the end here. The other end's fed into the rear diff. This is the end that's going to do the vacuum source. Now if we're going to use the pump, what we do, this tube will fit inside this tube. This tube right here comes with that pump if you buy the pump or if you already have one. If it's inside there, you push it in, it gets a good snug fit and creates a good vacuum tight seal. But I'm going to do something a little different for you guys. I'm not going to use this pump. But at this point, what you would do, once you get that vacuum seal, you take the lever here and just keep squeezing the lever, and it'll pull a vacuum. It'll suck the fluid into this jar. But I'm going to do something a little different. I'll be right back. Okay, this is the end that you'll normally hook that little vacuum pump onto, but I'm not going to use the vacuum pump. I'm going to show you a neat little trick. Alright, you see that right there? Let me get over where you can see it a little better. Okay, see I've got a slight little cut put in it. Not deep, it's maybe halfway through. What we're going to do is, we're going to take this little tool right here. Harbor Freight special little air gun thing that, you pull the trigger, blows off a little hot air there. Hot air, that's what some people do. But that's actually just compressor air. Yeah, that's it. I'll get out in a minute. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take this end, we're going to feed it into the hose just inside that little split. So you open the split up a little bit, stick that tip in just a little bit. Not all the way through. And see, it's just kind of stuck in there a little bit. Now what you want to do, you want to lay this back. You want that tip to blow through the end of this hose right here. Now it's got to be able to pull a vacuum. What's going to happen, the air is going to come out this side. It's going to create a vacuum on this side of that cut. And I'm trying to reach around the camera while I'm doing this so it becomes a little, it's not as hard as it looks. I'm trying not to knock the camera over while I do this. Dang it. Now, it's really a fine line. Once you hit it, you'll know. Okay, now let's see what we get. Now, when I pull this trigger, what should happen is just start pulling fluid out of that differential. Check it out. I pulled such a hard vacuum, it's collapsing the pan. Hey, making it dance. But you see how well that works. And honestly, the best thing, this size tubing right here works great for power steering pumps or even brake fluid if you want to go that route. But the differential fluids are so thick and heavy. That 1/4-inch line that I'm using right there is actually kind of too small to use on diffs on really heavy grease. So I probably on my next one I'll step up to a little bit bigger tubing and try that. But you see the basic design of it. And so basically I just kind of hold that air to it like that and it'll keep pulling it right out of there. You see it dripping. I mean, obviously you can see it's pulling a hell of a vacuum right there because it's collapsing that bottle. So you see how well that works. So to pull all the fluid out, I just simply hold air to it and just wait it out and it'll pull all that fluid. Well, looky yonder everybody, look what I found. I got back and nosing around the shop. I was going to put some oil, some grease back in the rear end now. I found this big old tube right here. This would have actually been very good as the fluid pull line for this right here. Don't ask where it come from. I have no earthly idea. I just found it laying back there. So what I may do a video later on modifying this right here, putting this in, and because when I do, I think I got another trick I'm going to show you guys. So whenever I do my mod, and this, I want to try to convert this also into a to install fluid, to put the fluid into the differential. So I'll show you guys how to do that too, and I'll be using this tube. But for right now, I'm just going to put the fluid in this right here the old school way. So basically cut the end off that, take this right here, slide it over top of that. Yeah, right. It'll slide down. It goes down over top of that little ring right there. Press it on good. And it'll hold it on like that. And let's go back under the Jeep. Okay, basically what I've done is I've took one end of that hose, fed inside the differential. The other end is on this. And it's deep enough down inside the differential, it's not going to come out. So I'm going to hold this right here in place, take my other hand that's holding the camera at the moment, and start squeezing the bottle. It'll pump the fluid. It'll force the fluid to go into the rear diff. So here we go. Squeezing the bottle, just forcing the fluid into it. And basically, just like my videos I've shown you how to do the transfer case, you just want to put fluid in until it runs out. So I'm not going to bore you guys to death watching me squeeze this bottle, put the fluid in, so I'll be right back. Okay, you can see the fluid running out of it right there. That's when you know it's full. And look at there. I moved my pan out of the way, wasn't thinking about it. Made a mess in my driveway. Now basically what you're going to do, take a paper towel or rag, whatever, wipe that off real well, make sure it's nice and clean. The plug that you pulled out, wipe it off, make sure it's nice and clean. Just put the plug back in. Okay, I just want to show you guys, because I kind of had a hard time underneath the Jeep showing you guys the details, but put the creeper right here just so I get a little abstract of color, because it kind of blends with the driveway. But if you see the split right there, I mean, it's probably just a little bit less than cut halfway through. And as far as the tip, I mean, it is definitely a sweet spot. You'll know it when you hit it. But it's going to go in, you kind of push against it like that to open it up, and you kind of stick the tip in like that. Now bear in mind, if you push it in too deep, you'll close this side off. You will not pull a vacuum. If you don't go deep enough, the air escapes and doesn't come through here, and it won't pull a vacuum. So there's a sweet spot to where you got to hit it. But as you've seen how that can collapsed, you know it when you do. I mean, it's literally probably about like that. I mean, it's barely stuck in there. It seals around the slit here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but down below here, the bottom of this hose going back into the canister, it's still got an open slot down here. Of course, and the air travels straight out the end of that hose. It's what's called the Venturi effect. It creates a vacuum back here. The air rushing out this way creates a scavenging or vacuum effect back here. And as you've seen, it'll suck that fluid right up out of there. Now, what it does to a power steering pump, it'll pull a power steering pump dry within a matter of seconds. And that big fat hose I showed you a minute ago, once putting fluid back in the rear diff, I'm going to modify this canister later on for that hose and see if I can make that work. And if I do, I'll update the video. I'll make an update video. That's it. So anyway, just want to show you that in detail real quick, so you know what I was doing underneath there, because it's kind of hard to show it. Now, how is that for a neat little tool? Take a peanut butter jar that was already slated for the trash, drill a couple of holes, a little vinyl tubing, and what do you got? You have a cool little fluid pump. Works on differentials, as you've seen. Fluids in the diff is a little bit thick, so probably step up to that bigger tubing. And you guys seen that bigger diameter tubing that I just happened to run across inside my shop. I may try to drill that lid and put that in there just to see how that works out. So also, hey, the thing, even with that 1/4 inch diameter tubing, you take a power steering pump, it'll suck a power steering pump dry in a minute. I mean, just quick. Brake fluid, obviously, you know, it's about the same consistency as the power steering fluid, so brake fluid, no problem. Your thinner fluids, it does great on. So there you go. Make you one. So, I mean, if you like the little trick I just showed you, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. You know, when I make these videos, you will get an email saying, hey, he made another one. It'll come to your email box, obviously. So, thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't. And, oh yeah, check out my website. This will be on my site, www.fixjeeps.com. Go by and check it out. I got downloadable charts. If you got diagnostic troubles with your Jeep, I got the whole kit and caboodle of all the diagnostic codes. You can print them off yourself and you can take them out to your Jeep and, well, read your diagnostics. So, got a lot of cool stuff going on, and you never know what I'm adding next. So, go to my site, bookmark it, and refer back regularly. So, everyone, I appreciate all the comments you guys leave. And most of all, everyone, have yourself a great day. Peace out. See y'all.